since. But today is going to be different. Today we're going to be finding out the impact that this organization has had since its inception. You know, what have we achieved? How many lives have been touched? How many values have been changed? Whose lives have been changed? So today is going to be inspirational. Today we're going to be hearing from all the top guns of the organization. If you can just look at our flyers, we're going to be talking to the coordinators of each zone. We're going to be talking to our zonal heads. Are you excited? Because I know I am. So once again, I bid you welcome. My name is Khadija, and I'm going to be your host for today. So first and foremost, I'd like us to introduce all our top guns in the organization. So I'm just going to take you through a quick rundown of the zonal heads and their little portfolio. So you know why I call them the top guns. They're the big guys of the organization. So I'm going to start with Sultan Kamal, my Oga. Sultan Kamal Abdulaziz. He's a graduate of BSc Geography and an MSc in Environmental Resource Management. Environmental Resource Management. So you can see that his values are way up there. Hello, Sultan. Say hi to everybody.
Yeah,
he's also a
discuss with you.
We're glad to have you. He's also a scientific officer at the National Space Research and Development Agency. He's an independent writer, a content creator, a philanthropist, and currently, of course, the coordinator of GSC Abuja Zone. Thank you for joining us, Kamal.
Thank you very much. Really nice to have you in. Really nice to be in your midst. Thank you.
So next, we're going to go to Mayowa Elebio. He is a social and business entrepreneur with various pedigrees in social and community building. We can all attest to it. He's the lead executive of Question Mark Nigeria, an innovative and aiding specialist company domiciled in the field of project management, content creation, graphics, and consulting. He's also, of course, the coordinator of GSC Kogi State Zone. Mayowa, is Mayowa here with us yet? Okay, we'll just move to Joseph Ugochukwu. Joseph Ugochukwu Wisdom he's a personal fave of mine. He's a third-year student of law. He is a creative writer, a budding poet, and he is passionate about music. As an artist, he loves traveling, exposure to diverse cultures and traditions. And, you know, we need more people like Joseph. He has journeyed through GSC from his senior secondary school days at GSS Jabi, and he is currently the zonal coordinator of GSC Abia State. So he has grown with GSC right from when he was in secondary school up until the point he became a coordinator himself. So I want us to give Joseph a virtual round of applause.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Joseph. How are you doing?
I'm great, Khadija. Good to see you.
It's nice to see you again. We hope to hear a lot from you about your zone and everything that's been going on. Yes?
I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. So we would just move on to the next coordinator. I'll be introducing Danyang Ernest. Is he here? He is a graduate of mass communication from the University of Jos. He's also working in the University of Jos, and volunteering is not new to him. He started volunteering at a very early age, from his immediate community to his church. That was just the way his parents brought him up, you know. So he met the Generation for Societal Change 7 years ago, and it has been a wonderful experience for him. He is the coordinator for GSC Jos Zone. Welcome, Ernest. Is he here? Okay,
hello,
so
everyone.
we would. Oh, hello.
Hi, Khadija. How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
Hi. I'm fine, thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much, and it's nice to be here with you guys. Thank you.
Looking forward to hearing from you.
Bye.
So I also have Farida Umar Abdullahi. Farida and I go way back. But Farida is a socially responsible and ethical legal practitioner. She has a very keen interest with corporate law practice. She's a legal officer at Jaiz Bank at the moment, and she volunteers with various other organizations. She works closely with the stakeholders in the coordination of the activities in GSC Kaduna zone. And I believe GSC Kaduna started with Farida's presence in Kaduna State. So Farida has always been a very strong presence with GSC, and we're very grateful to have you with us on this conference. Farida, can you say hi?
The pleasure is absolutely mine. Hello, good evening, Khadija.
How are you doing,
good evening,
girl?
everybody. I'm very well. Are you?
I'm good.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm so pleased. I'm happy to be here. Like, you have no idea.
And we're very grateful to have you. So we're looking forward to hearing about you and all the activities of the Kaduna zone.
Of course, like I'm always excited when I have to discuss GSC, you know?
I'm very aware. So we'll just move on to the other coordinators and we'll get back to you in a bit, okay?
Of course.
So we have 2 other coordinators that I have not yet introduced, but unfortunately I do not have their portfolio with me. So I will just tell you their names and their zones, and they would probably do the introductions better. So I have Oluwaseyi Oladeji he's the coordinator of Lagos State. So Sheyi, is he here?
She is in here, but I'll be representing him. It's Kelly Obende from Lagos.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's good
Hi,
to
everyone.
have you, Kelly.
Yeah, thank you,
So
Farida.
we're hoping to hear about you and the zone very soon. Yes?
Yeah, it will be a pleasure.
So we're sure Sheyi will be ably represented by you.
Definitely.
Okay, so it's nice to have you, Kelly.
Thank you.
So finally, we have Francis Uduma. He is the coordinator of the Port Harcourt and the Bonny Island zone. Is Francis here? Please say hello. Is Francis here? Okay, so we will.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello,
yeah, this
Francis.
is Francis Uduma. Yes. Can you all hear me? This is Francis Uduma.
We can hear you.
Yeah, Francis Uduma. Yeah, can you hear me?
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, this is Francis. Yeah, Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I'm Francis Uduma, the coordinator for River State, Bonny, Port Harcourt. I'm a graduate of, first-class graduate of Transport and Logistics from Eastful Benin University. And before then, I had earlier acquired City and Guilds of London certifications in business administration and information and computer technology from one of the accredited centers here in Nigeria. That's Bonny Vocational Center, being sponsored by NLNG. And thereafter, I did my internship with Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas. And thereafter, I was employed by Rivera Technical Service as an administrator BLS, that's the Business Logistics Services Department of Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas. Then that was far back in 2013 after my internship with them. And I'm presently a professional accounting tutor with Synergy Brentwood Professionals, being an accredited ACCA
We seem to have lost Francis for a second there. Well, we feel very grateful to have you in our midst, someone with such a rich portfolio. We're looking forward to hearing from you and everything you've been doing within your zone and everything that has gone on within the zone. So we're looking forward to hearing from you, Francis. Thank you so much for joining us. So, like I told you, we brought in the big guns to this conference. So in this meeting, we're hoping that we wouldn't spend too much time, would make it as impactful as possible within a very limited amount of time. We want to discuss the experiences of the coordinators, their challenges, the impacts that they've made, want to understand what prompted them to even join GSC in the first place, what continues to motivate them as they have been going. We want facts, we want figures, we want stories, we want numbers. We are looking forward to all the value that you have been able to give out to other people during this period. For those who have been here for 10 years, for less, we're looking forward to hearing all of that. So for all our first timers, GSC means Generation for Societal Change. This is an action-oriented organization. We have a mission to develop an inspired, educated, and socially responsible generation of people. So before we go on, before we dig into talking to all our coordinators, we have a short video from we have a short video for you. Admin, could you help me with that? We would be hearing from, here we go.
And it just meant talking to them and again and again and again. And this is where we started. And this is how I got involved 2 years while I was on the island. I think almost every weekend we did something in Finima or Bonny. There were 3 schools at the time. And even when I left, I continued to become a part of this, stay a part of this. And here we are 10 years later.
And while we sat back and looked at the things that were going on, we thought to ourselves, we are here in Bonny. We should find a way to make things better. We should find a way to give back to the society. We should find a way to make the younger ones change their mindsets, to give them a new paradigm to what success is, and to, give them a better, a higher value of existence. And essentially, that was where the idea began. And we had a lot of engagements. Myself, Eju at the time, and a few other people, and of course, now. We had a lot of engagements with the principals, planned to do a lot of talks with the students. Fortunately, I had a little history with some of the schools because I was a teacher. I came in as a copper and I was meant to teach, so I taught in some of the schools. Nice. So, yeah, and yes, indeed. So, and that was pretty much where we started. We wanted to invest our personalities. We wanted to showcase the values we had, because we knew that if they could take on these values, their lives would be better off. They would be better citizens, they would be better people, and it would essentially give them a brighter and a better future, not just for themselves, for the environment where they exist. And I mean, today is a testimony. When you look at how far we have come, we started just like a small idea, a small group in Bonny. But today we are in quite a number of states, a lot of young people, and I've seen a lot of testimonials of the impact it's had. So indeed, the small thing has become quite a big story.
That why pushing this kind of message, trying to make them, that's what the name of the organization, Generational for Society, we made them to look at things in a generational perspective. And this is what has helped us, that a lot of these young people who attended the programs, some of them, you may speak to 100 people, just one or two caught the message, will make them know that the fruit you're seeing today it came from a seed that was planted way back yesterday. So if you don't like what you're seeing today, plant a different kind of seed. And maybe those coming in the future, you may not even partake of the fruit, but some people will miss it. And some of these guys have come to realize this. And people like you guys now, you don't even pay them. Nobody pays. Nobody, like Peter said, we didn't emphasize money because we've seen how money has turned, especially things of, off the path, original path. We say it's not about money, it's about you giving. If you understand the concept that this is tied to you, it's tied to, you may be a single man, a single woman today, but inside of you are children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren. If the world tarries, as they say, the world does not end, it's a matter of time. Those great-grandchildren will come. The child that is 1 year today, 1 day old today, if the world remains, at one day, if God sustains that person, that human being will be 100 years someday. And so once that understanding came, people drove. Every GSC volunteer knew that I'm not just doing this for myself, I'm doing this for my grandchild.
You know, when we started this GSC journey, when we started to speak to the young ones, there was something I used to say. I used to say, I wish there was someone that came to speak to me like this some years ago when I was in school, that actually stood in front of me and said, look, this and this and this is what you need to do. This matters. And that alone spurred me on. And one other thing is that I meet people in town, even till not very long ago, and they actually talk about the impact that we've had in their lives, about how those talks have been really good for them and how they help them to focus. So, one thing we should know, that's good for those of us that are volunteering now, is that you 1,000 people, but your message gets through to just 2 people or 3 people. And it's usually like that. So do not be discouraged. There are people that are listening to you. Because I've been in situations where you have a big crowd of people who you're speaking to them, and a lot of them don't seem to be listening. But after the whole event, you get 1 or 2 people that come to you and ask you more questions. So there's always somebody, there's always a message for somebody. And believe me, a person can inspire a generation.
Welcome back, everyone. So two things stood out there for me. It is that a person can inspire a generation. One person can inspire a generation. And the fact that everything we're seeing today is because a seed had been planted yesterday. So we're trying to plant our seeds today and hopefully inspire, even if it is one person from this conference. So we would go straight into it and talk to our coordinators. So I want to start with asking Kelly and Ernest. I'll start with Kelly.
Okay.
So I want to know what started this for you. What started this process for you? GSC, the journey. What started it for you? How did it begin for you personally? Outside of your zone, how did this happen for you?
Okay. I finished from University of Lagos, BSc in Electrical and Electronics Engineering.
Yeah.
Sorry, I did not introduce myself initially.
It
was a particular day, GSC, I think Eju and Shei, our Lagos coordinator, had a symposium at the lecture theater. And around that time, I've been listening to Pastor Sam Adeyemi, the senior pastor of Daystar Christian Center. And my mindset at that period was all about values, how to make the country better, how to just add value to the environment where I live in, where I stay in, and the likes. And then I got into the hall that particular day, and I saw this group of people doing something similar to what I've been listening to. And I'm this kind of person that is kind of shy. I want to express myself, but if I'm not in a group, it's usually difficult to come out like that. So
so the message just resonated with you.
100%. It resonated 100% with me. It wasn't difficult for Shei to convince me to join the group, because I saw a family where, okay, I could maybe do something in the background and still express myself 100%. So it just stuck. And ever since then, it's been, okay, one encouragement or the other. I'm trying to.
So how long ago was this for you? Do you remember what year this was?
I think this was 2012. 2012, if I'm not mistaken. That was in year 2. That was in year 2.
So that was about 8 years ago for you.
8 years ago. Yes. And
okay, thank you, Kelly. Let me just quickly go to Ernest now.
Okay.
So Ernest, I would like to know how this started for you as well.
Well, it's not something entirely new for me, because we grew up in Jos. Of course, I was born and brought up in Jos, and that was even before the unfortunate crisis that took place and all. It's beautiful when you stay with people. Like we used to say it, and we still do. It's like Jos was the United States of Nigeria. You have all the tribes, like in my friends, cycle of friends. You have, like, I can name them, cycle of friends. Like you have all the tribes that you can name them in Nigeria. So it was something very beautiful and colorful. Then all of a sudden, the unfortunate crisis happened, and we saw a different community and a different setting entirely of something that you're so used to. Value was no more there again. It was really tragic and sad. But thank God, things are beginning to change. And coupled with the fact that, yes, growing up, you're sometimes then being a child, your parents were like, you have to do this. And you were like, no, why do I have to work and do this thing? Why do I have to help someone that, but gradually with time, then you discover that, okay, usually when you help one, you help the other as well. And you're making the society a better place. So it's not something entirely new as such, but honestly, I thank God for the journey. And for the GSD, when it came on board, it wasn't something that I was kind of like shy away. I have a friend, more like a brother, took that Dabugat. He's in Canada. He was in LNG. in Bonny Island. So I went over there, met Abraham then, but it was not even the GST thing, but the cordial relationship and everything.
At the time.
Honestly. So, when I heard about the whole thing, and I was like, look, I'm ready. It's not something new, so why not? Thank you.
So because of the values that you had already grown up with, when you heard about this, it was very easy for you to just align yourself with it.
No doubt. Honestly. It's just straightforward and all. Yeah.
Okay. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
I would go to Farida now.
Hello?
So for you, Farida, I'd like to know, when you joined GSC, was there a problem that you saw that you were looking to fix? Or is there a problem that you saw that was outstanding for you in the society that you felt GSC was there to help cover said gap, to cover said problem, to solve that problem? What was it for you?
Of course, there there are a whole lot of problems, but then the particular one for me was the fact that when I joined GSC, like, it really changed the way I saw a lot of things. I got to realize that, you could make a person's day by just a simple compliment. Basically, it looks like Nigerians are always stressed and they're always angry. So when I joined GSC, like, this was it. This was GSC taking away the whole stress. And then you see someone walking and you're being very polite and giving a simple compliment. Trust me, as simple or as not so significant as that could sound, it goes a whole long way. Like, people are stressed and people are doing a whole lot of things. So when I joined GSC, that alone was something for me. When I go to talk to kids, like to students, and I'm like, yes, this person is your classmate, but then, hello? Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Khadija. Go ahead.
All right. So when we have to go to schools and we have to talk to these students and tell them simple things like, okay, just be nice. Be nice to the next person. Like, it doesn't kill to be nice. You may be having a bad day, but the other person is having a bad day, but being nice to that person changes that person's mood. And apparently it changes your mood too. Like, fine, you might be having a bad day and then you're talking to someone and then the next thing, the person is happy. Somehow it has a way of changing your mood. So that was it, basically. Trying to see that youths, Nigerians, everybody is happier. It was just, I think, the icebreaker for me. Like, that was it.
Farida, do you remember the very first program you went on with GSC? Do you remember the very first time you spoke to a crowd? Do you remember that?
Of course.
On GSC related matters, I know you're a public speaker yourself.
Yeah, of course I do. I remember vividly. Like, it's difficult.
Do you remember what that
like
was
this
about and what the experience around it was like?
Well, it wasn't. It was nice. Sorry, please give me a moment.
Okay, I would be speaking to Mayowa next if he's here. Is Mayowa available? Okay, I just got information that Mayowa is in here. Meanwhile, if anyone in the audience has any questions, please feel free to send the question to the text box down there and they will be answered. So I'd like to speak with Joseph, please.
Hey, Khadija.
Hi, Joseph. How are you?
I'm all right. How about you? Good to see everyone
I'm
here.
okay. So Joseph, I remember that for you, GSC started when you were just in SS2, SS3, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember vividly SS2, the early term, first or second term or thereabout.
So you had one of the earliest encounters with GSC, I would say.
Of course, yes.
So what was the first impression for you? What was the first impression? What made you want to continue this?
I was coming from a place where people didn't pay attention to how other people felt. Everybody was noisy and shallow. Nobody wanted to look deep or something. And then, I don't know, I had picked up a habit of trying not to dispose waste indiscriminately. First, it was beginning to make people ask me questions in school. And then for a brief moment, I felt it was wrong for me to try to keep everywhere clean and tell people, please put it in the waste bin. Then Lawrence and I remember Lawrence and Dr. Abraham Eju, and I think Deleye too. They came to our school and then we had a meeting. It was after that time that I got to realize that I'm not alone in wanting to keep the environment clean. It was just, I know it's a little space, but it's not wrong to do that. And I also came to realize that I should also learn to listen to people, be nice to people, and be respectful as well. So it just made me feel, yeah, I knew it, that kind of feeling. So
it validated all the good that you were doing, so you didn't feel so left out, so to say, so outside, like other people would have wanted you to believe.
Exactly. So I found like a place where I could hide, or where I could a shelter where I could share my thoughts. People who are thinking like me, and then I got brushed up in the whole values education thing. So that was why I stayed in.
Yeah. So you went through this through SS2, SS3. You started the university in Abia State, yes?
Yes.
And then you started your own zone, took the values with you to Abia State. How was that like? How did that happen? How did that start? I want to know.
I didn't see that coming, actually. Immediately after my graduation from GSS Jabi Abuja, I was working with a primary school, and then occasionally I would go with you and Lawrence to other schools to talk about values education to kids. Yeah. And then there is this beautiful site that I usually have. I could be walking down the street and then you'd see kids, uncle, someone will run and hug you. And then these are kids who have seen me in their school. I don't recognize them sometimes. And I loved that feeling. And then it was the passion and innocence. And then it struck me that these innocent ones may have to suffer for certain things that I wouldn't do or I would do today. So it made me more passionate about telling people more about values, the need to do right, particularly. So I got admission here, and Lawrence talked to me about it, Dr. Abraham as well. And then I started that in my little circle in the university as well. That's how this came to be.
That sounds fantastic. So how has that been received by those around you? Is it the same with the type of attitude you got back then in secondary school when people felt like you might have been doing a little too much?
Yeah, it still is a problem. You know, here in the university, it's difficult to get people to understand what you're doing. Someone would ask you, okay, Joseph, how much are you being paid for this? I'm saying nothing. Or what do you stand to gain from this? Nothing. And it's so unbelievable that I'm doing something that I am not getting any money from, and favors from of any sort isn't coming forth. So people look at it with a kind of eye. And then there are persons who want to be identified with the organization for recognition and political purposes on campus. And then when they see that you are not giving them that, they walk away. And besides, I came to realize early enough that GSC isn't about the number of persons who would be members. It's people who understand the message. So I'm taking it one step at a time, and then I am consoled that by the fact that a few other persons understand me, and then I'm not here alone.
So you've despite the challenges, you've gotten a few people with you through this journey.
Of course, and we've been going to a couple of schools here in Abia State too.
Okay, that is fantastic. So we'll get back to you, Joseph. I'd like to talk to Francis. Francis, please. I'm seeing Kelly. Hello, Kelly. So before you come on, Francis.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. I'm back. I'm connected right now.
Okay. I wanted to know if you have had any testimonials due to the impact that your work has made while in Port Harcourt, Bonny Island. Do you have any testimonies you'd like to share? Something you've heard, something you've seen?
Yes, I
something that
have very wonderful
you
testimonies. Yeah, I have I've gotten so many testimonies from people, and also my very self. You know, a lot of people, I try to make them understand that it's not all about finances. For the fact that GSC activity is all about volunteering, you're not being paid for it. It's not all about looking at it from the financial perspective. There are some other qualitative aspect of it that even matters most, you know, strategically. Like, you know, back then I started by coordinating the SciWest in NLNG. I mean, those for the student industrial work experience scheme. And then there was this particular SciWest that when she was done with her internship, she went back to the University of Nigeria and Nsukka. And a few months later, I was so astonished, you know, happy when she called me to thank me, you know, for GSC activities and how she graduated with the first class, and she tried to actually point on those you know, workshops we had, how it was also helpful to her, and a few other persons too. Most of them are working right now. Some of them furthered their studies, you know, good places, you know. So most times they call me just to thank me for the activities of GSC, which was actually insightful and you know, instrumental to their career and educational development. And my very self, I'm also a testimony, because I met GSC activities back then in 2012 thereabouts via EDU, you know, in the workplace. And because the program, the vision of GSC activity synchronized with what I like personally. Okay, so I attended the first and the second GSC activities, and I sparked up with that interest, you know. So it wasn't quite long. He handed over the coordinating activities to me over the SciWest, and it gave me extra vigor, you know, the way I do my job, the way I try to carry myself. And it also made me to know that, yeah, I have a personal challenge for myself, because the world is looking up to me to also become better enhanced and developed, you know, by the virtue of the position I was, you know, occupying there. I remember when Engineer Peter Ibi, he left for Bangalore, and because then he was the coordinator for the zone. He handed over to Emmanuel, you know, Ipad. Then I was secretary. I also took over secretaryship from Bamiduri at the time when he went for his MIT MBA, you know, and before I now later became the coordinator of the zone. So those things, it gave me a lot of personal challenges for myself. And today, I'm so excited that I just rounded up my PhD, my doctorate, you know, and I believe the GSC activities and involvement, thank you. I also believe that my GSC involvement, you know, in so many ways, you know, made me to be more meticulous in what I was doing, because you don't only preach, but you also have to see yourself as a role model. So that role modeling, I was seeing it from the people I was leading, you know, and it's still ongoing. So my vision is to keep propagating the message, and to also see that I carry the the 21st century generation along, so that the next generation will also have a better experience and testimony to share. Yeah, so
I agree with you that I agree with you that working with GSC helps you to improve your own personal values. None of us are born perfect, none of us are perfect. But by the time you go out saying this message, giving this message out to most especially a lot of people who are younger than you are, you begin to get the mandate. You're inspired to be as good as the message that you are carrying. So you try to personally have these convictions for yourself so that by the time you go out to tell other people this message, you know that you are an embodiment of these values. But I'd also like to know, Francis, if you have any, do you think you can possibly put figures to the number of people you think you have reached in your zone? Do you think you can put figures to that for me? How many people do you think you'd reach on an average when you go out to speak to people?
You got it right. Yeah.
Sorry, I did not get that.
Average people. Okay. Yeah, I think I understand what you're asking. He said I should give a quantitative expression of the number of people on an average I've been able to reach out to in my zone ever since I started GSC activity, isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
Hello. Okay. The thing is that I can only give. Okay. The only thing is that on a formal note, I will say to some extent I can quantitatively express it, but informally I cannot, because everywhere I find myself, I'm preaching GSC. That most times I don't even capture it in the reports. I don't know if you get me. Like I see students.
I understand that.
I'm strategically positioned so that even when people come for induction, workplace, this thing, I interact with them on GSC basis, informally, and a lot of people just know me that I don't even know, all because of GSC. So you now see that informally, I cannot actually give a precise or quantitative expression of that. And if I have to go by my reports, that's where, because those ones are captured on an official note. So that's where I will now talk about the thousands of people. And my target is to get to 1 million, in the next 3 years, from now. That is my target. So like I am
thousands of people. That is a fantastic reach, Francis.
Yes.
Thank you very much for speaking with us. I hear that Mayowa is here, so we'll just move on to Mayowa and then we'll come back to you, Francis.
Okay.
Hello, Mayowa. Where is he?
I see that Mayowa is here, but he needs to unmute his mic.
Anyone speaking?
Yes, his mic is muted.
Okay, is there any working time to unmute? Maybe we should give him a notification so he can unmute.
Okay, he has unmuted.
Hi, Khadija.
Hello, Mayowa. How are you doing?
Hi.
You were not here in the introduction bit where. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
Okay, I would just.
Hello, Mayowa. Can you unmute, please?
Let me speak to Kamal, then would come back to Mayowa. Hopefully he would have all of this sorted by then.
Hi.
So let me just move on to Kamal quickly.
Hi, Khadija.
Hello. Hi, Kamal. How are you doing?
Hello, Khadija. I'm doing really well. Hello,
Kamal
everyone.
is Kamal is my Oga in my zone.
It's a pleasure, Khadija. It's a pleasure working with a fantastic soul like you. You've been really hardworking.
So Kamal, I'd want to know, what are your favorite values?
Wow. Okay. So one of my favorite, it's actually patriotism, because it's virtually almost everything for me. Because if you're not patriotic, you can't how do I put it now? It can't mean a whole lot to you. The whole process can't mean a whole lot to you. Yeah. So you have to love your country as much, and you have to want to make your country be seen in a certain light, and you want it to foster as much. That's when, what do they call it? It could influence, you could have as much influence on your society.
So what you're telling us is that you love Nigeria and you're trying to do everything to make Nigeria better.
Exactly. I wouldn't leave Nigeria for a thing right now.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
So can you remember one of your favorite outreaches for GSC, one of the ones that meant the most to you? I'd like to know what that was like. Where was it? What was it? A school? Maybe GSS Jabi that Joseph went to? How many people was it? What was the message you preached? And what about that day, that situation stood out for you?
Okay. So my favorite one had to be my first one, actually. So the story goes like this, yeah. I just joined GSC. I was communicating with Lawrence all of the time, but I had never attended a values education program. I was just looking for the opportunity to join in, either you or Jenny or Lawrence, to attend one, actually, so it can be like a stepping stone for me. Only for me to get a call on a Monday morning. It was Lawrence. He wanted me to come along with him to a values education program. Yeah, Lawrence was coming from a particular access, which was Gwagwalada, and I was staying at Area 1 at about 10. So we all agreed to meet at Zone 4, GSS Zone 4. And yeah, just while I was on my way, I got a message. It was from Lawrence. He was telling me he couldn't make it, and that
oh my, he ambushed you, didn't he?
yeah. So he was like, he couldn't make it, and yeah, I have to just go do it myself. He sent me, what do they call it? All of the things I needed to know about. He sent me the handout to study, and then yeah, I just had like 10 minutes max. While I was in the taxi, I was reading this handout, and then the school were actually expecting me. I was so tensed and nervy because I've never done that before. Yeah, I maybe reached out to a couple of people, but yeah, given the platform, I know GSC had to do with a whole lot of people. I haven't been on an assembly ground before, yeah? And that was just when I started learning how to speak to a public. So getting there, they were all excited and waiting for Lawrence. Then they had me, yeah, a new volunteer. And I'm like, I'm Kamal. I introduced myself to, he was a GSC member, I think Mr. Ibrahim in Zone 4 then. Yeah, so I went in and I introduced myself to him, and they were all excited to have me in their midst. I went on the assembly ground, and for once I had to kill the nerve. I gave out my lecture, and it was fantastic. It was so nice to know it was well appreciated. Even before I left the school, they had called Lawrence to tell him how I did. And yeah, I was pleased I didn't fumble at about them. So that particular instance stood out.
Do you remember what value it was?
I think it was patriotism. patriotism.
The one that you're most passionate about.
Yeah.
So what's the most challenging thing about your zone and being coordinator in your zone?
Okay, so for me, the most challenging one is that at about the time the stage got bigger, a whole lot of responsibilities also came in place. And having to juggle all the balls have been really challenging. Having to give your best, having to be committed in all of the things you do. And yeah, it came with a whole lot of other responsibilities. Yeah, setting out the conference, having to manage a whole lot of people you used to look up to, and feeling the shoes actually left behind by a giant, Lawrence. Yeah, he did a great job here in Abuja, and there are a whole lot of expectations as to what I should be doing right now. So it's been really challenging, but thank God for guidance. Thank God for guidance from Lawrence himself, Dr. Abraham, Engineer Odaik. They've been really supportive, and cooperation from you all too, Khadija, Jenny. And sorry if I haven't mentioned your name, Celestina. Yeah, you all have been you've made everything go well.
Okay, that is fantastic. It's wonderful talking to you, Mayoga. I would speak to Mayowa now if he's available. Is Mayowa ready? The network is not great on my end.
No, I think from my end, the network is really bad, but I've tried both networks now, and I'm still getting a lot of challenges in trying to pull through.
Okay. It's unfortunate we missed you during the introduction bit and for most of today.
There.
But I want to know what it has been like in your zone.
Yes.
How has the work
Very much,
been?
I'm so sorry I pulled late. Yeah. So the work has been good. Of course, with the presence of Lawrence in our zone at the moment, Kogi State has no regrets. We've been doing awesomely well because of the presence of Lawrence. I myself, I'm not Kogi based. I'm Abuja based now, and I still hope probably I could discuss with Lawrence for a restructuring so that I can always reflect where in a closer zone where I belong at the moment. So probably I could operate from that end. But before I left Lokoja, yes, I successfully was able to start up GSC in Lokoja, and I think the first year in school.
We're having such a
with
challenge
about
with the
over
network.
500 students to speak with the kids. Okay.
It's unfortunate because I know you have quite the story to tell.
Okay. I would possibly probably get another SIM card totally from so as to meet up with that of the 8 p.m. Hopefully it's gonna help for the meeting for the night session. So, but however, the Kogi GSC started on a good note. And 500 kids, over 500 kids were reached out to on that day with teachers. And they were really happy because Lawrence could testify. Kogi State happens to be a place that is really backward when it comes to values orientation. And the beautiful part was that there was an outbreak with the function that we had at Muslim Community High School. The teachers learned a lot, and I also got a report from the teachers on how beautiful and how awesome the subject matter was,
work you've
and
been
how
doing has
even
been.
they themselves could also imbibe some of those culture and values to also help them in reaching out to other kids. It was an one, actually.
Sorry,
Yes,
Maiwa, I'm
it's
losing you
because
there.
it is on village Kogi and also helps in managing every other business of GSC.
Maiwa, I'm losing you there. I might have to, let me move to Kelly and speak to Kelly for a bit, then I'll come back to you.
Next time. Okay.
Kelly?
Yes, Khadija.
Hello, Kelly. Welcome back.
Thank you, Khadija.
You mentioned to us that Sheyi is the coordinator of your state, but you did not tell us what position you are holding in the state. And I'd also like to know, why are you smiling? It's okay if there's no position at all.
It's okay.
I'd also like to know what values are most important to you. But before you say anything, for all the coordinators listening, our time is fast spent. We have a few minutes to go. I'd really like, I would like a call to action from all of you to all the youth out there. What do you think we all need to know? What do you think we all need to hold on to? So I'd like everybody to prepare on that, put a little note down on that before I get to you. Then, of course, for those I haven't asked what values are most important and how those values have impacted you personally and those around you, I'd like you to also tell us that. Before I speak to you, Kelly, I have a short story to tell. I remember during my NYSC, I went with a few people from my CDS on one of those GSC rounds. We went to government secondary school. Where was it? I think it was Life Camp. It was Life Camp, I believe. One of those times where you'd have to walk in, talk to the principal. We went there for the assembly and we were there by 7, I believe. But at the time, there was absolutely nobody there. We were the first to get there. So, and we were just thinking to ourselves that these are the values we're always talking about, time management. And by the time they finally got there, we were talking to them and they were wondering, why haven't we brought something for them to chop out of what we are chopping to, And they didn't want us to talk to the students until we had given them a little something. So even after we had finished speaking, the principal called us into her office and still wanted to know, what is it that we're contributing to the welfare of their school? And they started to go on and on about what it is that they are missing, what they do not have, what contributions they would like us to make to their well-being and stuff like that. And I believe that's a challenge that a lot of us have had. Joseph, I believe, mentioned how people cannot believe that there is no financial gain to the work that is being done. I'd really love to know how that has affected the work that a lot of you are doing. Please do not forget to write a comment in the comment section or a question in the comment section if you want to ask any of the coordinators. So Kelly, we'll get back to you now.
Okay. For the post I hold in Lagos zone, currently I don't hold any posts. I'm just a member who sees it fit to always come on board anytime.
So you're the most important member there is what I'm getting.
No. She called me and then tried to find out if I'll be available to fill in for him today, and I said sure. And that's the reason why I'm here today. That's one reason why I'm here. I still have joined since I got the info about the meeting today. Well, my most important value would be honesty. I'm someone who really likes to see that yes is yes and then no is no, because it does a lot for us as a people. Some days back, I was overpaid at the office for a certain job, and then I went to report myself to the person in charge. We eventually found out that the particular error was from the aside, and then okay, we agreed that the issue would be resolved. And then I went to inform my colleague at the office, and something he said struck me. We probably may not be of the same religion, but it was like, Kelly, you did the right thing. If it was someone else, the person would say that all the work I have been doing, all my effort that I've been giving to this company, they've not paid, no results, that kind of a thing. It's time to eat that particular thing. But I saw it as, okay, why should I take what I did not work for per se? That would be stealing. So for me, honesty is a value I treasure very, very much. I'm still working a lot of things that are not, it's really not 100% yet, but that's one value I really treasure much. And then for the call to action for the youth, well, my call to action to the youth is to get serious with this values thing, because like Pastor Sam was saying, if you don't have value, you can never get value. The reason why Nigerians are treated anyhow when they go outside this country is because of the kind of value we have exhibited to the rest of the world. Young men getting involved in crime, phishing, internet fraud, and it's telling on the rest of us. So for us that have this particular platform, I think it's our responsibility to speak up.
Yeah.
There's a particular saying that goes to us: evil prevails when good men refuse to speak up. So it's going to be really terrible for us if things continue to get bad and we refuse to speak up or change anything. Edo elections happened yesterday. I'm from Edo State, and then I'm very happy at some of the things some of the videos I watched, how that people really want something different.
Yes,
The only
people
way
are
is
contributing to wanting change. Yes, you're
change.
right.
Yes. They want change, and then we're getting to that point. Actually, and then for us as an NGO, our responsibility should be to show them how to do it rightly. That's my call to action for every youth out there.
So
I hope
you say we should be honest, even if it is that you're far away. You don't say you're 5 minutes close to where you are not. You said we should we should give value if we want value. We should be interested in these values. So I see a question here for the coordinators that says, what are you doing to make sure that this message gets into the little spaces? What are you doing personally to make sure that this message gets out?
Okay, is that for me?
Yes. That's for you.
Okay. So in Lagos Zone, what we do, okay, before the advent of the coronavirus, we used to go to schools, and then we have a regular radio show at University of Lagos, FM. So when we go to schools, we would teach the secondary school students. Most times it's majorly secondary school students. We teach them about values. We noticed that at a particular point, while they were about taking exams, most of them didn't want to work hard any longer because it was easy for them to go to the internet and then defraud someone abroad and then become something big. And then the pressure from the society to be something quickly, we saw that as a problem, and then we try to encourage them to really work hard. There's really no shortcuts to life. We talk to them, and then at some point we organize some small competition amongst them, to also hear from them, to tell us what they feel about this values message. And to an extent, not all of them were really interested at that particular point, but like Peter said, Engineer Peter Igby said in the short clip, that one or two people would come around definitely, and then they would want to find out how they could also make progress in this values line. So that's one of the things we do. We go to secondary schools and then teach young people. On our radio program, we discuss about societal problems and how the values message can really help to solve a lot of problems. We really we're not getting any much feedback on the radio because the telephone lines were bad, but we were sure that our message was getting to the university community, and well, we're able to also get some people from the university, some undergraduates from the university to join our team as a result of some of the things we did on radio. So those are the two avenues.
That sounds like a very extensive reach your team has there, Kelly.
Okay. Yes.
Grateful. We're very grateful for the work that you're doing. We would just quickly
Khadija.
move to NS now.
I think Ernest is out. No.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd speak to Francis. Francis, please. Admin.
Okay. I'm on ears now. Okay, all right. So in response to the question from Gina Ibi Peter,
okay.
Hello. Yeah. Should I go ahead?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. As for GSC in the next 10 years and efforts I've practically put in place. First is that just almost 2 years now, I was recommended into Board of Trustees. So I want to first relieve myself of that coordinator status, to enable me strategically focus on my functions. However, I'm looking at creating a new organization in GSC Bonny Port Harcourt. I mean, when you talk about GSC Bonny Port Harcourt, you're looking at an organization on its own self, whereby I'll be able to expand my leadership base, for a greater impact, so that when it comes to the corporate aspect, because we have our corporate engagement with organizations, apart from institutions like the universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. So I want to expand my leadership base such that to make it formally like an organization on its own, such that from these different components, I've seen them independently work very effectively and reports to the center. So in the next 10 years, we're talking about a global GSC Bonny Port Harcourt on its own, self that has been
Yeah,
able
so
to
these are the
expand
zones
the leadership.
competing now.
Yeah, I think
I hope all the other
it's a
zones
healthy
are
competition.
taking, yes.
Yeah, it's a healthy competition, you understand? Not actually a competition that we want to, but we just want to, GSC started from Bonny. That's like the source, that's where it originated from. Exactly, the center. So I want that that formidable force to be felt continuously there. I believe so much in continuous improvement. So no matter what we've achieved in the past, we still need to consolidate our efforts, our plans for a greater results subsequently. So that word continuous improvement is a big word. Is a big word on its own. So in the next 10 years, I want to see that effect, being felt more, that GSC is an organization on its own when it comes to River States, Bonny, Port Harcourt. Yeah.
So Francis, I'd like to hear your call to action to the youth, please.
Sorry, I didn't get that. My call to action.
Your call to action, yes. What do you want us to do? What do you think we should do? What do you think we should be focused on? The youth.
Okay. Like as I said earlier, I somewhat believe in continuously improving from the status quo. So the only way we can improve the capacity of the youths, okay, in our society. When I'm talking about the society, I'm talking about the global society. The only way we can improve them is by seeing how to continuously improve in our own processes, at the individual level. Okay, we see how to improve at each zone. We see how to continuously improve in what we are doing. So we should have key performance indicators on ground so that on a monthly basis, we're able to review, we're able to carry out variance analysis to examine where we've done well against what we've planned so that we can be able to be more proactive. We take measures earlier enough, to try to mitigate and put ourselves in order. So these are things we have to practically put in place to ensure that we'll improve in our performance continuously. And with that doing, you see that we have a larger market share. I know this is not a profit-making organization, but we need to expand our base. You understand? Like as I said earlier, it's not all about money. Qualitative matters are even what are key drivers, are key things that even makes you to be profitable. If you ask any global organization that is into commercial, they will tell you that. So we need to focus on this qualitatively. So that's actually my.
So we should focus on continuity. We should have key performance indicators so that our performance can get even better.
Can be measured,
have a larger reach. Yes, indeed, because I think the measurement would be very encouraging if we could know that over the span of a year, 2-3 years, we've been able to reach this said number of people, 4 million, a certain percentage of the number of people within Nigeria. It would be, they would be encouraging figures. Thank you very much, Ernest. I appreciate your work and everything that you've been doing with GSC, Bonny, and Port Harcourt. Farida, I'd like to speak to Farida.
Hello. Oh God, thank you. Hello, Khadija. Sorry, I'm around.
You look like you're in a moving vehicle.
Because I traveled and I'm on my way back.
Oh wow. Okay. Would you still be able to speak with us?
Of course, definitely.
Okay, so do you think there's a value in particular that can change all the other values? That if someone has that one value, focuses on that one value, they would be able to, catch up with all the others? Do you think there's one that is most important?
Of course, and that would be integrity. Like integrity personally is my favorite value. Many times integrity has to do with what you do when no one is watching you. So finally you find out you're fighting your own self. Nobody is watching. But then are you going to do the right thing? Like will you do what you're expected to do even if nobody were to see you? So it's basically your
thing. Even if there was no advantage attached. You would still do what is necessary.
Exactly. So if you ask me, I'll say integrity goes a long way. If everyone would just hold on to integrity, like see that, okay, fine, I've decided to be honest. I want to be a person of integrity. I want to do the right things at the right times, even when no one is watching me. I'm going to be an example. People are looking up to me. So I don't think attached to it or not. I'm just going to do the right thing. I'm just going to be a person with integrity. Like when they are calling looking for one person with integrity, my name will not be on that list. That's it. I think integrity is it.
It's
Every Nigerian or every person.
Farida, I think your mic
If
is
every
shaking.
Nigerian or every person had integrity, a whole lot of. Sorry,
Your mic might be shaking.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. The volume goes up and down.
All right. Okay. So, as I was saying, if a whole lot of persons built their integrity and made it top class, you find out that we'll be cutting out on a whole lot of problems. Like many of the challenges we're facing, we won't have to face them because everybody knows what to do. They know the right values to imbibe. They have the right ethics, the right skills. So you just find out that the society
that
becomes
is true.
Hitch free.
Could you quickly take us through the activities in your zone? What have the activities and the reach in Kaduna been like? What have you guys been up to?
Well, not so much, but then it's not much the activities, but then it's impactful and it's significant.
And that's all we're looking for.
Well, exactly. So the bulk of the activities happened in 2019, where I was in Kaduna during my service years. I was the president of my CDS group, Corpus Legal Aid Group. So Corpus Legal Aid Group had a lot of partnering to do with GSC. We took up on some schools. We tried to talk to the students there. Trust me, they're always very excited. I think that's my favorite part of GSC, going to schools and talking to young persons. You know?
Yes.
That was basically talking to students. Well, we talked to ourselves too, the core members, because you find out that just like you were saying, we lack time management and we lack basic, simple values that helps persons relate and all. So that was what we worked on basically, talking to students and trying to build our own selves. Because you can't be preaching what you do not practice. And it's difficult when you have to fight yourself, like when you have to teach yourself this thing.
Farida, do you have a final call to action for all of us here?
Well,
and then we can let you continue on your journey.
Thank you. I'll just say we should all be consistent. It's a busy world, and truth is stressful. It's really not easy mixing volunteering jobs with your personal jobs and your personal life. But then consistency is key. If we can be consistent, and I'm sure we're going to like achieve a whole milestone and all. We're going to go places. That's basically, we should just be consistent. We should do it not because we think, okay, we're going to benefit immediately. Many times, these things we're doing, it's not for our benefit. It might be our grandchildren, generations get unborn that will benefit from it. But then, I think it's then the international board. Your investment is going to solve problems. So
Freda, I think I'd have to stop you there because the network is a bit shaky. But I believe we have heard you. You spoke about us being consistent. You spoke about integrity, and you spoke about how this is an investment for all of us. It's an investment for our future, for the future of those that will come after us. So thank you for single-handedly starting the Kaduna Zone. Thank you for everything that you have done, for your work, taking time out, even while on a journey to speak to us. Thank you and have a safe trip. I would be speaking to Joseph next. After Joseph, then I'll speak to Kamal.
For me, I think you mistook me for someone else. Yeah, I think you mistook me for someone else. So that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, but that's yeah.
Okay, we would just switch soon. We want to speak to Joseph, admin.
Hey, Khadija, I'm here.
Hey, Joseph. So I'd like to know very quickly how the activities have been like in your zone, 1. 2, what you think, if you think there's a specific value that will cover all values for everybody else, and then your very quick call to action to all of us here.
Okay, the first thing is I would say that it's been challenging for me. I wouldn't say it's easy either. My zone, reaching out to people is not easy, and young persons particularly. But I intend to do that with time when we come back to resumption.
Okay.
As slow as the process would be, and then I've already reached out to some of our student government bodies in school to help foster the publicizing of GSC and teaching, giving us a platform to bring it to different departments and classes as well. Yeah, also for the value that I think stands out is respect. Yeah, respect would make you not want to hurt another person's feelings. You could respect an adult, a child, and even your surrounding, even the things around you. So it's without limit. So I believe that's for me, if I would pick one, the respect you'd have for people. You would watch your language, you would watch your actions, you would watch, and it also filters into your relationship with other people. So you'd learn to be honest because you respect them. You will learn to be truthful and all that. And then you learn to keep your environment clean because you respect your environment as well. And then a call for action for me, for young persons like me, we know what is right. Doing right isn't easy, but let's try and do right. It's not easy, but let's just do right. We would fall, but let's just keep trying. I think the worst mistake we would make is resigning to fate and say it's unattainable to do the right thing. I acknowledge doing the right thing is difficult, but what would keep us going is perseverance. Thank you.
Okay. I agree with you, Joseph. Respect is a very important value. If we respect the people around us, we respect our surroundings, we respect cultures, differences, everything would go smoother if we respect the places that we work and the people around it. It's not just the African version of respect where you call people by their titles. It's how you behave even when you are not around them, when you are not obliged to do so, when you are not going to gain anything from that thing. We should continue to respect and truly doing the right thing, the right thing. But I do disagree with the fact that we all know what is right. I mean, you did say that there was a period where people saw you doing what you felt was right, and they looked at it very weirdly, you see. For a lot of people, though we say certain things are right, in our actions we might not show that those are the things that are appropriate for us to do. So I'd say we should continue to do what is right, and hopefully other people would learn from the examples that we continue to set out. So I would.
Thank you. I just wanted to add something. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to add just a few seconds. Yeah, in addition to what he actually said about respect, okay, I just want to add that, as a leader, one aspect of respect you need to integrate in your leadership skill is that aspect of diversity. One of the ways to respect people better is to understand diversity. The fact that people cannot be like, why am I saying this? Is because sometimes we have this sentiment of thinking, I don't like this person. This person is a noisy person. This person is this person is not like me. I do things this way. No, it's not all about that. As a leader, what you need to think is to look at, if this is the quality about this particular person, look for how to make the person relevant in line with that unique quality, because everybody is important. So it's only when you understand and appreciate diversity that you'll be able to understand that, oh, this person just has a unique lifestyle. So let me kind of galvanize some activities to suit that people's specific strengths. Exactly. You understand what I'm trying? So that's one aspect to respect people, and not to complain that you don't like this aspect. So that does not make you a global leader. So that's just one aspect I want to add. So thank you for bringing
I agree with you, Francis. We would just move on to Kamal right now, but thank you, Joseph, for your contributions. Thank you for your work. And we are grateful for everything that you have done and contributed to GSC's growth. So we would move to Kamal.
Hello, Khadija.
Hi, Kamal. So we want to know what the activities in the Abuja zone has looked like. What has the reach been like quickly? What has the reach in the Abuja zone been like? What have you been up to?
Prior to COVID, actually, we've done a fantastic job with the radio programs, with the values education programs, and all of that. The numbers are encouraging, actually. We have our numbers in thousands.
Kamal? Kamal, are you still with us?
Can you hear me?
Kamal?
Yeah, Kamal, please go ahead. We are ears.
Okay, seems we've lost Kamal there as well. Can
It happened that there was a form of paradigm gave birth to yeah, so there's like a sort of paradigm shift, and I can remember being on a table with other volunteers in this zone about 2 years ago, talking about how we should start diversifying how we should reach out to people. We spoke about social media, we spoke about e-flyers, we spoke about beefing up our websites and the likes of them. And I'm so glad that this is a system that has been adopted, and it has been really important, especially these times where we can't really step out to schools as we usually do. And yeah, have our typical programs with the kids in school. So it's important that we think in this line, we think outside the box and try to get more advanced. So that's what we've been up to. So far, so good. The GSC media have done a fantastic job. You could tell from the interviews we've had, you could tell from the social media pages being active, you could tell from the website improving on a daily. And I'm really glad to be part of this process, actually. So that's it.
It sounds like very extensive work, Kamal. Well done to you and your team at the Zone. So we would just want a final call to action from you. What do you want to tell us all?
All right. My call to action would be, we shouldn't look away from a problem that we see, actually. So for a world that we create is a world our sons and daughters cannot escape. If today we feel like we could escape with looking away and feeling like it doesn't affect us, if we really love the younger ones coming behind us, then we should know that they would never escape from these things. So if it doesn't affect them directly, subliminally, if you cage them at home and teach them all the moral standards they want to get, once they step out from the confines of your home, they are definitely going to relate and with people out there who you probably have ignored one way or the other. Probably not the person directly, but maybe the person's parents, and the person couldn't pass on this the lessons you needed to impact upon them, and subliminally affecting their own kids. So I feel like we shouldn't look away from these problems and try to keep on with the jobs we do. We are afforded with a platform not a lot of people have. We should just keep on with the good work and try to make sure everything comes fine.
That's a fantastic message, Kamal. We should not look away. We should not look away. We should not indeed look away. I tried to bring Ernest on. He wasn't available. The only person left on our list would be to speak finally to Mayowa. But I would also like a call to action from Lawrence. I know he's not expecting this, but his name has come up a lot in how people got into GSC. And I think it's our little way of honoring how he brought many of us in, including me. I came into GSC through Lawrence. I had gone through, I had just finished the university where I was volunteering here and there. And Lawrence met me and said, he took me to a very nice dinner to propose joining GSC to me. And he said he thinks he has the perfect thing for me, and indeed it has been the perfect thing for me. So we would love to hear a call to action from Lawrence finally, but only after we've spoken to Mayowa. So is Mayowa available? If Mayowa is not available, then we'll just move to Lawrence and then speak with any members of the audience who want to say a thing or two, and we would finally come to the end of this fantastic conference.
Hello,
Lawrence.
Hi.
I'm sorry I ambushed you, I know.
Well, I want to say well done. You have actually been coordinating. So I think you're made for this life, actually. So I don't even know what you're doing in the course. Well done. Well done to you and the team.
Thank you.
To be honest, I wasn't there 10 years ago, but I'm happy to be very, should I say, key in how the story has turned out. And also, I want to thank each and every one of you for honoring the call when it came and for being very consistent. There would be no Lawrence in GSC without a person like Abraham Eju, who is the chairman of the board, because he had come from Bonny and met us right there in our sitting room in Otako and spoken. It's been a journey because for myself, I have evolved, to be honest, in mind, spirit. Basically, GSC has, we are humans and we still live in certain ways that, of course, you know that there is still more to be done. But so far, so good. I'm better off because I encountered GSC and I'm grateful. Now, a call to action. I do not know exactly the words that I would say in this light, but it would only be more like an encouragement to each and every one of us, the youth, to say, in a world like ours where many people have given up, literally given up, a lot of people are jumping the fence and going to the other side. The national cake, they say, is finished. What we have is a tray with crumbs and everybody's trying to lick. It's time for us to bake. Yes, it is actually time for us to bake. Now, who has the skill to bake? Who has the microwave or whatever they use in baking?
It's an oven.
Put heads together. Oh, it's an oven. Look at that. So basically, there's so much to do, but there's a cake to be baked actually.
Indeed.
And if we do not bake the cake, our kids will come and there will be nothing for them. We'll tear ourselves, we'll eat ourselves. That's just what I see. Yeah, sometimes we can laugh about the condition of the things, we can play about it, but it just remains what it is. It's serious. What are we living for if we're not going to actually stand in the gap? So I'd encourage each and every one of us, just do the little thing that you're doing in your little space and just have it in mind that it's a generational thing. We have to switch. We will die with time. Whatever that happens, we will die. But we would want to have kids. We want to take a wife and have kids. And these kids will grow into this space. How are we preparing this space for them? When they come and point fingers at us and ask us, what did you do? You know, what did you do? So what did I do? So let's just do the little that we can and just hope that there's a supernatural force that comes in and really helps us makes all this effort worth the while. Thank you so much, Khadija. Thank you.
Thank you, Lawrence, and thank you to everyone who has joined us today. Thank you for an insightful conference. Thank you for the information you have shared. Thank you for sharing your experiences with all of us here. Thank you for helping us mark 10 years of GSC, 10 years of impact, 10 years for sharing values, because everything that we have done, or every change that we're looking for, starts from a conversation, and it is this conversation that we are having now. Every idea starts from a conversation. Everything that we're looking for towards the future starts from a conversation, and we're hoping that this conversation starts that for you. I don't know about you, but for me, my zeal to find change in this generation, to do better, has been renewed. I have given, I have the zeal, I am inspired. Thank you to all of you who have taken your time out to be a part of this. And a very big thank you, of course, to the Almighty who has made all of this possible for all of us. If there is anybody in the audience who wants to say a thing or two very quickly, is there anyone? Show of hands.
Okay, thank you, Khadija, for the session, for anchoring the session. I think it was an awesome one, an excellent performance. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Francis. I see Dr. Edu has a raised hand.
Yeah. Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello, sir.
I hope I'm coming through. Can you hear me? Hello, Khadija.
The network is shaky, but I can hear you.
Okay. Can I use your phone? Hello, Khadija.
Hello, sir. How are you doing today?
Okay, thanks. Just to say thanks to everyone. This is exactly what we envisage, generational thing. That if we do not get into this thing to know that what you do today have a result coming in the future down the line, and if we don't invest in today, then you may not be able to guarantee the future. God has a part to play, but man also has a part to play. I want to take off a bit from where Lawrence said that we have to learn that there's a baking of cake before eating of cake. So if the culture is just eating, you are very sure that it's just a matter of time. Starvation must visit you or your generation. And and baking is not just that you have cake to eat. You also have your generation will have cake to eat, and they will learn to bake as well because you have the skill. But if you didn't learn the skill, you end up not even knowing what to pass to the generation coming. You cannot teach them how to bake because you didn't know it. Except they have someone. This is what we're doing now because those ahead of us never really taught us how to bake. We are also always been told, if you do not eat from the national cake, you are a failure. So we've had eat since you were a baby. So everybody is after to eat before I die. And so you're from your family to your local council, your community, your state, everybody's the nation, you must eat. If you don't eat, you are a failure. So at the end, there's no baking skill. It's so amazing to see young people that we stood up and say, whether we are taught or not, we will learn by God's grace how to bake.
Yeah.
So that even though they didn't always see your people scrambling for cake, killing themselves, look at the election that just held in Edo State. It's as if a war is happening, police, soldier, army, because everybody wants to die to eat. There's not cake, they didn't bake. So there's really not, go to the place and see where they are scrambling and killing themselves. You wonder, is this the environment? Who are those responsible for this environment? So, but we don't go, GSC, we don't look at the past is gone. We learn from the past. What we tell ourselves is, how do we ensure our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, if this war tarries, do not come and scramble like wild animals? Because there's only a few remaining, they've been eaten. So we not only bake cake for them to bake for their generations coming behind them. So I really want to thank us. We very propagated this message and we're still doing it. So much.
Thank you, sir. We would very quickly hear from Engineer Peter Igby finally, then we would close for the day.
Okay, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, sir. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. And well done. This is really good coordination.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah, okay, so we've said a lot of good things today. We've touched on a lot of good points. And just like all this talk about baking cake and everything, it just shows that what we are trying to do is we're trying to add value.
Yeah.
And rather we're trying to enhance the value that we see. So there was a question I asked about which value do we think is the most important? And there were a couple of answers. An answer was that one of them is integrity, that this links to everything. But then the thing is, what is integrity? It might seem like a simple word that everyone should know that, oh, look, this is what it means. But to different people, it means different things. So Francis said something about diversity, right? Just as we are diverse, so do our ideas about what is right and what is wrong. They can be different, but there is a common ground. So
our mission is not just about telling people that, look, this is what needs to be done and that's what needs to be done. It's about having a conversation, having a conversation in which we all ask ourselves, is this good and is this bad? You know, one of the things that ails Nigeria today is so many, how will I put it? Religious intolerance and tribal intolerance. So that is one of the things that we really need to address. So all in all, it's been a good workshop, I think, and we just need to keep going. You know, we're moving in the right direction. We just need to keep going, try to build momentum as much as possible. So thank you very much for this, and I must express my gratitude and even admiration for all you young ones and the good work that you're doing. I really love all the work with the media. I love all the work with the GSC TV and all that. So let's keep working, let's keep partnering, let's keep bringing in more people, and we will get there. I believe that we would. There's no point doing something if you don't believe that there is an end point. So let's put our energies in and work towards that end point. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. So for those who might have joined us in the last minute, the Generation for Societal Change is an organization, an action-oriented organization with the mission to develop an inspired, educated, and socially responsible generation of people who will be the foundation of an equitable and progressive world. Thank you so much for joining us to mark this conference. Thank you very much to all the teams in the background helping us to make this better. To the media team, the technical team, everybody who has put in something to make this such a success. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My name is Khadija. I am the secretary to the Abuja GSC zone, and keep being change makers. Goodbye.
Thank you, Khadija. Bye.